Breaking news, just 3 minutes ago, a political earthquake is shaking international relations. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the young and fearless president of Burkina Faso, has officially blocked Israeli deals that were in the final stages of negotiation. The reaction? Total shock in Tel Aviv. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is reportedly scrambling for answers, and the world is now asking, why would Traoré risk such a bold move? What exactly was on the table? And what does this mean for Africa, Israel, and the balance of power across the globe? Stay tuned, because in this extended report, we will dive deep into the details of this breaking story, from Traoré's rise as an anti-colonial revolutionary to Israel's ambitious push into Africa, to the shocking collapse of deals that could have reshaped alliances. We are covering everything you need to know to understand today's drama. We must first understand the man at the center of it all, Ibrahim Traoré. At just 37 years old, he holds the title of the world's youngest head of state. He rose from being a young artillery officer to seizing power in a coup in September 2022. His country, Burkina Faso, was in crisis. Islamist insurgencies were spreading, people were living in fear, and trust in government had collapsed. Traoré stepped in with one clear message: Burkina Faso belongs to its people, not to foreign powers. He quickly became known for his fiery speeches denouncing colonial influence, rejecting Western interference, and calling for African self-reliance. His popularity skyrocketed, not only in his own country, but across Africa. Many began to compare him to Thomas Sankara, the legendary Burkinabe leader of the 1980s, who also fought against neocolonialism and dreamed of a united Africa. Like Sankara, Traoré talks about agriculture, local production, education, and independence. He has launched programs to promote farming, build infrastructure, and encourage young people to participate in rebuilding the nation. But unlike many leaders who simply talk, Traoré has made bold moves. He expelled French troops from Burkina Faso. He openly defied ECOWAS, the West African regional bloc. He joined forces with Mali and Niger to create the Alliance of Sahel States, a new coalition rejecting outside control. And now, he has turned his attention to Israel. Why does Israel care so much about Africa? The answer is both strategic and political. For decades, Israel has invested in building relationships across Africa. These deals often focus on security cooperation, intelligence sharing, agriculture, mining, and technology. But the goal isn't just business. Every African country represents a vote in international organizations like the United Nations. Every partnership expands Israel's global influence. In recent years, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has made Africa a diplomatic priority. He has visited countries like Kenya, Uganda, and Ethiopia, signing agreements on counterterrorism, irrigation technology, and energy. For Israel, Africa represents both a market and a strategic ally against hostile votes in global forums. Burkina Faso, positioned in the Sahel, is particularly valuable. It sits on important mineral reserves including gold, manganese, and possibly rare earth elements. It also struggles with Islamist insurgencies, making it a candidate for Israeli security technology and military training. For Israel, a deal with Traoré's government would have been a major win. For Netanyahu, it would have been another notch in his belt as he tried to project Israeli strength on the global stage. But today, that opportunity vanished. According to early reports, Traoré reviewed the proposed agreements carefully. They included security cooperation, with Israel offering drones, surveillance equipment, and military advisors. There were also proposals for agriculture modernization, promising irrigation systems and crop technology, and there were talks about investment in mining, giving Israeli firms access to Burkina Faso's natural resources. On paper, these deals looked like opportunities, but Traoré saw them differently. In a fiery internal address, he reportedly told his ministers, Burkina Faso will not sign agreements that exploit our resources without benefiting our people. We are not here to be another pawn in global politics. And with that, he shut the door. The Israeli deals are blocked. Negotiations are over, and Israel has been left stunned. For Prime Minister Netanyahu, this is more than just a lost deal. It is a diplomatic embarrassment. Israeli officials had been working for months on these agreements, believing that Burkina Faso was ready to join Israel's circle of African partners. Netanyahu himself had hoped to use the deal as proof that Israel's global diplomacy is thriving, even as he faces criticism at home. Instead, Traoré's rejection has become a symbol of resistance. News outlets are reporting that Netanyahu was caught completely off guard. His government is now scrambling to understand what went wrong. Did they underestimate Traoré's ideology? Did they assume that financial incentives would be enough? Or did they fail to realize that this young African leader is building a legacy based on sovereignty, not dependency? This is not just about Burkina Faso and Israel. It is about a larger shift happening across Africa. For decades, African nations were often pressured into deals with powerful countries. Whether it was former colonial powers like France, global giants like the United States, or rising players like China, Africa was seen as a resource to be exploited. But today, leaders like Ibrahim Traoré are changing that narrative. By rejecting Israeli deals, Traoré is sending a clear message: Africa will choose its partners carefully. Africa will demand fair agreements, and Africa will not be used as a pawn in global games. This resonates with a new generation of Africans who are tired of exploitation. Across social media, young people are hailing Traoré as a hero. Some call him the new Sankara. Others say he represents the awakening of Africa. Whatever the label, one thing is clear: this movement is growing. The ripple effects are already being felt. In Russia, officials are quietly celebrating. Moscow has been strengthening ties with Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, offering military support and political backing. Traoré's rejection of Israel is seen as another sign that the soul is slipping away from Western and Middle Eastern influence. In Turkey, leaders see opportunity. President Erdogan has already increased outreach to Africa, and with Israel's setback, Ankara may look to expand its role in Burkina Faso. In the West, policymakers are concerned. If one young leader can block Israel's deal so boldly, what happens if others follow? Could this spark a wave of rejections across Africa against not only Israel, but also Europe and America? For Netanyahu, the stakes are high. Israel has been trying to strengthen its global alliances. Losing Burkina Faso is not just a diplomatic defeat, it's a warning sign. So what happens next? For Traoré, the path is risky but bold. By blocking Israeli deals, he is betting on a future where Burkina Faso can stand independently, or at least align with alternative partners who respect his vision. If he succeeds, he could inspire other African leaders to do the same. If he fails, he risks isolating his country in a world dominated by global powers. For Netanyahu, this is a test of strategy. Will he double down and try to win Traoré back? Will he redirect his efforts to other African nations? Or will he face a broader backlash as more leaders question the value of Israeli deals? And for the world, this is a moment to watch closely. The balance of power is shifting. The old model of foreign powers dictating terms to Africa is breaking down. A new era of African assertiveness is emerging, and at the center of it, right now, is Ibrahim Traoré. 3 minutes ago, the world witnessed a turning point. Ibrahim Traoré, the bold and defiant leader of Burkina Faso, blocked Israeli deals that seemed certain to be signed. Netanyahu is shocked. Israel is recalculating, and Africa is rising. This is more than just news. It is history in motion. Will Traoré's gamble spark a continental movement? Will other leaders follow his path? Or will global powers push back hard against this defiance? The answers are yet to come. But one thing is undeniable. Ibrahim Traoré has made his mark. His voice echoes far beyond Burkina Faso. And his decision today is a reminder that even the smallest nations can shake the global order.